If you go to Belgium, a black statuette said what people have said, well, that statue has just been blackened by time. It's so interesting that this is an interesting argument that people use. They say it's been blackened by time, but what they mean is that, okay, it's old and maybe it just got dark. But in most of the cases, when people have looked at them, uh, uh, the clothes that they're wearing don't get blacker. The dress that they have is not blacker. What they're saying is that they're trying to explain, why are these statues black? And I will tell you in a minute why they're black. But this is the problem. If you go to Liege in Belgium, at Chevremont, you see the Our Lady of the Hillside is black. You go to Brussels. If you're in Brussels right now, go to the Church of St. Catherine's. You see a black statue. If you go to Orval in Belgium, you see the Dark Lady of Heaven shown with a curly-haired Jesus. If you all over Belgium, you see this. You see. You go to Walcourt, Namur, where the Virgin is on the altar that legend says was once occupied by a pagan goddess. Who is this pagan goddess? And even if you go to South America, you will find in Bolivia the Lady of Titicaca, a dark virgin of the lake. Even Inca fishermen who said they were saved by from a storm by the Black Virgin. That these are the native people are revering this Black Virgin in Rio, in Sao Paulo, in Brazil. Our Lady of Conception, the most sacred image, associated often with Yamanya and Oshun, who are both African divinities. If you go to Prague, there are 4 different churches with Black virgins. All over, you can find. I'm saying to you that in England, Downside Abbey in Somerset, often referred to as the Black Madonna there. Fearing in Essex has one also. The Mayfield in Sussex has 2 Black virgins in a girls' public school. In Aix-en-Provence in France, Saint Bonaventure is said to have brought a Black virgin from Italy in 1274. How did that Black virgin get to Italy? Of course, Lucia Beerbaum has discussed that in terms of the whole relationship with Sicily and Sicily's relationship with Africa. And in Angers, in France, a crypt of the Church of the Trinity, you can see, of course, the Black virgin. In France, also at Avignon, a large Black virgin without child, looking down on the saints. In Chartres, Our Lady of Chartres, and in Lyon, the Black Virgin of Lyon. All of these, I mean, you can go on. Marseille, Orléans, in Paris, Paris, whose name is actually from Par Isis. We'll get to that in a minute. At Saint Germain-des-Prés, on the site of the ancient temple to Osset, there is a Black virgin. In Athens, in Greece, the very Black virgin that came down in the Byzantine Museum from the time of the Greek Orthodox Church. So all of, I mean, you go to the Greeks and you see the same thing. Salonika Basilica in 470 AD. The Greek church, and the real model, many people believe, from many of the Black Madonnas come from the Salonika Basilica in 470 AD. This Greek church had the Black Madonna, the mother and the child. In Dublin, Ireland, in the Carmelite Church, Our Lady of Dublin is a large Black virgin, you see. And with a Black, and then there's a Black Madonna who's highly venerated in Dublin. You can go to Rome. Maria Nova, the new Mary, stood on the site of the Temple of Venus. In Siena, the Black Lady, based on the Libyan Sibyl. In Amsterdam, in Krakow, in Lisbon, in Romania, Spain, Russia, and Moscow, Madrid, all these places. I'm telling you this. Now, I gave you that list because it's important for you to understand and know that this is what is going on in terms of just the extent. And yet, with all of the extent of these different examples of the statues and statuettes of the Black Mother, you don't hear any acknowledgement because sometimes people are scared. And sometimes people just don't want to tell the truth. And but if you look at the examples of this, you will find that during the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th century, what happened with the rise of this notion of the doctrine of race and the doctrine of white racial supremacy was the question of how do you suppress the African origin of these symbols that are consecrated and are sacred to Europe. How do you suppress them? How do you keep the masses from worshiping these Black images? What do you do? And one example that they did really in Austria in 1798, when the Lady of Eiselden, who's a Black statue, was evacuated in Austria. By the time she was returned in 1803, they had, to the consternation of the believers in the church, they had painted her white. So what's happening in the 18th and 19th century? What's happening is that what people are trying to do is to say, wait a minute, we have enslaved African people, we have colonized Africa, the continent, and we don't see Africans after the Hegelian philosophical revolution as being equal to Europeans. So now what we've got to do is we have to condemn every instance where we see the rise of the idea of African Madonnas, Black Madonnas, or Black virgins in these churches. And sometimes it's interesting what Lucia and Ian Begg and Leonard Moss and others who have interviewed priests about these things have heard. They say, well, sometimes they say, well, the wood was black. Or sometimes they say, well, the smoke and the candlelight turned them black.